Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, November 30th. Well, kind of a clean, crisp air mass has moved into the Mid-Atlantic region with lots of blue skies right now, much more seasonal temperatures compared to the balmy conditions that we've experienced for the last several days. A strong cold front with a soaking rain passed through the region last night and has ushered in this much cooler air mass, but it's nothing extreme. It's just near back to normal, which is relatively close to 50 degrees for highs in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and in fact that's what we should experience for the next several days. Well, let's take a look at the latest 24-hour temperature change map. This is between yesterday morning and this morning, and just look at this, a lot of more than 20 degrees colder this morning compared to yesterday morning. Of course, yesterday we were ahead of the cold front and we had still the warm air mass in place. This morning we're behind the cold front, much cooler air, especially compared to yesterday morning, where again we're more than 20 degrees colder in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. Now, up farther to the north here across Maine, they're much milder morning this morning compared to yesterday morning. That's because the colder air has not moved into that region yet. You'll see the frontal system is moving in that direction, but the colder air is wrapping around from the southwest to the northeast. Let's now jump ahead to the surface map. And here's that cold front now entering the middle part of New England on its way up through the state of Maine. Again, colder air has been wrapping in from the southwest to the northeast, so while Maine is milder this morning compared to yesterday morning, the cold air is on its way, and they'll be much colder tomorrow morning. The storm that dumped quite a bit of rain in our area, anywhere from about a half an inch to an inch, has now moved up into the eastern part of the Great Lakes on its way into southeastern Canada in this fashion, and we'll have some stronger winds this afternoon out of the west, especially stronger compared to the last few days. A cool air mass, but nothing extreme near seasonable temperatures. High pressure, meanwhile, here over the middle part of the country will continue to build into the region for the weekend, and it looks relatively dry from today right through the upcoming weekend. Here's the latest colorized infrared satellite loop from the Penn State EWAL site. And while there are blue skies in the Philadelphia region this morning, as well as throughout much of the Mid-Atlantic from Washington all the way up to New York City, there are some clouds here in western Pennsylvania and northern Pennsylvania. And this little area of cloudiness will move towards the Mid-Atlantic region. There will be some clouds this afternoon and tonight as a weak disturbance comes through the area, but for the most part, dry conditions, maybe a few sprinkles here in the mountains of central and western Pennsylvania, but we should be relatively dry today as well as for the next several days right through the upcoming weekend. Here's the latest radar map, and again, nothing showing up here in the Mid-Atlantic region. I really don't expect anything to show up throughout the day, but there can be a pickup in intensity in the mountains of western and central Pennsylvania. In fact, there's a few areas of sprinkles right now and a little bit more in the way of sprinkles as you get up towards the eastern Great Lakes, but for the most part, all that precipitation will hold west of the mountains, and the big cities from Washington to Baltimore to Philadelphia and New York should stay dry today as well as for the next several days. Well, here's the latest NAM North American Mesoscale model for this evening, and again it shows basically dry conditions here in the Mid-Atlantic region, at least from the big cities, Washington up to New York City. There's a little bit of precipitation here, upstate Pennsylvania and New York, but again that should not make it over the mountains. Now, one other main feature I want to point out that is about to occur is out on the west coast. In fact, we have conditions setting up called the Santa Ana winds, where winds come down the mountains, and it's kind of a wind channeling effect that can really enhance the wind speeds. And we have a tremendous Santa Ana wind phenomenon that's about to set up, I think, for later on tonight into tomorrow morning, and it'll probably make the news. We have a very strong high-pressure system here just off the west coast. This is coming down the coast in this fashion, and some low pressure here in the southwestern part of the nation. Combination of this low and this very, very strong high will cause tremendous winds, I think, later on tonight into tomorrow across much of Southern California, known as the Santa Ana winds, probably up to 70 miles per hour in the low-lying areas, and maybe up to 90 miles up in the mountains, especially in the mountain tops. So we'll probably hear a lot about this over the next 12 to 24 hours or so, a major Santa Ana wind event for Southern California from late tonight through tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, here we have now totally clear conditions here in the middle Atlantic region thanks to a large high pressure system. This is the NAM forecast map for tomorrow morning. This high builds in overnight tonight and will really dominate the weather scene right through the upcoming weekend. Again, still in California, we have this strong isobar pattern which will enable strong winds during the day tomorrow out of the east or northeast. The Santa Ana winds between the high pressure, strong high pressure off the west coast and the low pressure here in the southwest will have this wind flow and channeling effect overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. So that's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.